Okay, so let's start with why. Why would you grow food in the city? And I think the obvious thing about having fresh produce that you find tasty, that you like, is the obvious one. But also, it's very good for individual well-being. So gardening is a kind of gentle exercise, and particularly if you're someone with reduced mobility, it's a good way to get out and get moving around. And I think research is now starting to back up what we all kind of experienced during the pandemic, particularly that the mental health benefits of seeing nature, of having access to green spaces is really important. And for some people, growing food is also a connection to food traditions, either from their own families or from their culture, that really helps enhance their sense of well-being. But then there's also the social well-being that comes from gardening, from learning from other people. Sometimes you can share produce with your neighbors and your family. That builds those social relationships. Even just having a garden in a public space means that you get to talk to your neighbors more than otherwise. I've seen that a lot in my neighborhood, that people who I hadn't talked to before suddenly ask me questions about the garden. So it's nice to have that connection. And then there's kind of the well-being of the city as a whole, specifically the environmental well-being. So gardens across the city reduce temperatures, they increase the air quality, or the breathability of the air, increasing biodiversity too. So the picture you see on the left-hand side of the screen is a swallowtail caterpillar. So swallowtails are great pollinators. So and on the topic of pollinators, what's interesting is something like 35% of our food relies on pollinators. So this picture shows what a grocery store looks like with bees and without bees. So without pollinators, even in the city, food production would be very, very limited. And, you know, if you have a garden in your front yard or a balcony, just any place that people can see, it's not just gardening for you, but you're also sharing the benefits with other people as well. So people get to see that green space and experience nature just because you are growing gardens yourself. Doing that gardening on your own is rewarding for sure, but there's something about knowing that other people are doing it as well. Because one garden maybe doesn't feel like you have that much of an impact on the city, but when you know that there are hundreds and even thousands of people across the city who are also gardening, not only do you learn from each other, but you really get the sense that there's a bigger impact, that it's going to change the city as a whole.